That's right, suckers. Oblivion is 20 years old now. How's that for making you feel old? So, I'm guessing that means Oblivion was the game that I saw people playing in college, on their laptops at school, that they would bring in. So I'm guessing this is the one with those jumping boots that make you go jumping across the map but then die when you land because they don't cancel out the fall damage. That's my story about Oblivion. So, I already have this game. I got like the Steam version, like the original OG 2006 version. But there was a brief window. All right, here's the story. It starts out, I'm a console gamer. I play games on console. Hardly, if ever, touched anything on PC, and nothing ever really sank in when I did. Like, my grandpa has this one Mahjong program on his computer. I'm going to play that, but I don't really care. My mom has bought a second-hand Macintosh, and it came with Marathon 2 on it for some reason. I'll play that for a little bit, but I'm not going to really consider it one of the games of my childhood. I did like 2 levels, whatever. But, so anyway, I never played PC games. Out comes Portal 2. And in Portal 2, that had cross-platform multiplayer. But in order to do cross-platform multiplayer and play with people on PC, which is where all of my friends had it, I had to open up a Steam account. And it was tied to my PlayStation Network ID in doing so. And so I played online multiplayer Portal 2, and I thought, well, I got this Steam account now, let me poke my nose around. And so I found a couple games. I think on that account, I bought like 4 games, which I never played because I wasn't a PC gamer. I poked around in them a little bit and lost interest, as I usually do. And one of those games was Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. I played a little bit of it. I think the only thing I remember is camping out in a field. And then when I woke up, some assassins attacked me. And I killed them. I said, what the hell's that all about? That's the only thing I remember. So years go by. I have eventually gotten into a little bit of PC gaming. I think I have like 30 games in my real Steam account. I set up an actual one that wasn't just a slave of my PSN account. And then Steam had a thing where I could like link the two. And back then, that meant I could share my games. It's like a family kind of thing. But that doesn't work anymore. So when I log into Steam, it shows Oblivion in my list, but it doesn't load. I have to switch to my different old account. I have to log out of Steam, log in, and then it's capturing off the computer. And then I've been playing Skyrim lately, and that thing crashes all the time. And it's like, maybe I'm not going to play a Bethesda game on my PC. How about I don't do that? So this morning, I spent $50 and I bought the Oblivion Remaster. And it's like, good. I can finally play my PlayStation 5 at long last. An excuse. And so now that's what we're going to do. Brightness is fine. Subtle visibility? Subtitle. Wait, why is it called visibility? So if I turn off the subtitle visibility, does that turn off the subtitles? Or does it mean the subtitles are constantly going? It's just whether or not I can see them or not. I'm going to do medium now, but I'm probably going to turn it up to large. Sure, vibration. Adaptive triggers. No thanks. Vibration strength. Medium. Enemy combat damage? Do you mean difficulty? Well, I'll just go with the default. I don't know what that means. I'm just going to assume that is normal. I should carefully read the entire following end-use license agreement before buying, downloading, installing, using, or playing the game as defined below or any related software and/or content. This agreement contains important terms that affect your legal rights. They don't actually, but we're going to say that to scare you for some fucking reason. By buying, downloading, installing, using, or playing the game, I agree to be bound by all these terms of this agreement. You'd think that, and you'd be fucking wrong. If you do not agree to all of the terms of this agreement, please do not, and you are not permitted to download, install, use, or play the game. Hey, bad news, fuckers! I already bought it. I already downloaded it, and I've already installed it. You're too fucking late. By downloading, installing, using, or playing the game, I confirm that I have read the end-user license agreement, the ZeniMax Terms of Service, and the ZeniMax Media Privacy Policy, that you agree to the terms of this agreement and the terms of service, collectively, the agreement. You further acknowledge and understand that ZeniMax will process your personal information in accordance with the ZeniMax Media Privacy Policy. Just a reminder, this is a single-player offline game. Fuck off! If you do not accept the terms of this agreement or have not read or understood the ZeniMax Media Privacy Policy, do not download, install, or use the game. For ease of reference, the ZeniMax Terms of Service may be found at this thing. This agreement between... Okay, it's medium length, it's not gigantic. This agreement is between you and ZeniMax Media, including the parent affiliate companies, collectively ZeniMax. As set out in Section 1 of the Terms of Service, if you are a resident of the EEA, United Kingdom, Switzerland, Australia, New Zealand, Turkey, Japan, or Brazil, ZeniMax acknowledges that there are certain guarantees, warranties, terms, and conditions, including in respect to refund and return for unfair terms, imposed by the laws relating to the supply of goods, services, and digital content, which the laws expressly provide. That may not be excluded, restricted, or modified, or may only be limited to a certain extent, the statutory obligations. Nothing in this EULA excludes, restricts, or modifies the statutory obligations otherwise than according to such laws. Photosensitivity warning. A very small percentage of individuals may experience seizures or blackouts when exposed to certain visual images, including, without limitation, light patterns or flashing lights. Even people who have no history of seizures or epilepsy may have an undiagnosed condition that causes these photosensitive epileptic seizures while playing the game. If you experience any of the following symptoms while playing the game, immediately discontinue use and consult a physician before resuming play. Blackouts, seizures, dizziness, altered vision, eye or muscle twitches, jerking or shaking of arms or leg, loss of awareness, disorientation, confusion, any involuntary movement, or convulsions. Disputes provision. The ZeniMax Terms of Service contain a dispute resolution, binding arbitration, and class action waiver provision. The disputes provision, that if you reside in a jurisdiction outside of the EEA, United Kingdom, Switzerland, Australia, New Zealand, Turkey, Japan, or Brazil, that permits class action or other collective disputes, affects your rights under the ZeniMax Terms of Service of this EULA with respect to disputes you may have with ZeniMax. That dispute provision is incorporated in this EULA by the reference and forms as part of the EULA as if such provision were fully restated in this EULA. You may opt out of the binding individual arbitration and class action waiver as provided in the ZeniMax Terms of Service. Any and all use of the game are governed by the terms of this EULA and the ZeniMax Terms of Service, collectively of the agreement. To play the game, you must A. obtain from ZeniMax access to the game, and B. download the game client as defined below, or C. play the game via a third-party streaming service. ZeniMax... What are you talking about? I downloaded a 120 gigabyte program and installed it on my console. If you're telling me this is a launcher, and I click a thing and I have to download the actual game, or that I connect to your server to stream it, then fuck off. Where was I? This has already put a sour taste in my mouth. The ZeniMax terms of service are hereby incorporated into and form part of this EULA by this reference, as if such provisions were fully restated in the EULA. The EULA constitutes supplemental terms, as contemplated by the ZeniMax terms of service. The game is made available and distributed solely for use by authorized end users according to the terms of the agreement. Any use, reproduction, modification, or distribution of the game not expressly authorized by the terms of this agreement is expressly prohibited. You agree that the game client, other game-related software content as defined by the terms of service specific to the game, and your access to and use of the game are a service for the purposes of this agreement. I do not! I'm just going to put that out right here, anyone watching me read this. That's not how this works. And that's not how I'm accepting it. This is a product that I've purchased and now own, and I will do with what I please. Any rights not guaranteed to you in this agreement are reserved by ZeniMax. I did not go to the PlayStation Store and rent Oblivion. I bought Oblivion. This is mine. You acknowledge... Unless I am connecting to their servers and streaming it, and they plan to one day take those servers offline, and I can no longer stream the game off their servers? Oh man. I've been here for 10 minutes, and I'm already considering getting a refund. I regret spending $60 on this just now. I already hate this experience. You acknowledge that ZeniMax may... Sorry, they wrote that wrong. You acknowledge that ZeniMax will process your personal information in accordance with their own desires, which is available at Bethesda.net/document/privacy policy. And you agree that the ZeniMax code of conduct, which is available at... here's my code of conduct. I'm going to play the fucking game. And it's none of your fucking business, and it's not anybody else's business neither. Code of conduct is incorporated to the EULA by this reference, and forms part of the agreement as if it were fully restated in this EULA. No, it doesn't. So if it works that way, then my signature includes the provision that it links to a document that you have not and will not see that contains additional rules that bind you. Easy peasy. Oh, Queen, how you doing? We're reading a EULA. I fucking hate EULAs. Hey, Queen, should I return this game and try to get my money back? I bought it literally like an hour or two ago. It just finished downloading. Yeah, Merry EULA. We're gonna burn a EULA-tide log later. Why should I do a refund? Because so far it's using very gross language. It's very aggressive. Like, the first thing it did off the front is said that it's going to mine me for data and use it how it wants. It says that I personally am bound to their legal decisions. It says that I do not own the copy of the game that I bought. And it says at the point of sale, when I paid the money, that's when this contract kicked in, whether I agree or not. It also implied that the 120 gigabytes I downloaded wasn't the program, but just a launcher to access the program on their servers, and in the future they're going to turn those servers off and I won't have this game anymore. And I'm wondering if I just turn this off and get a refund now, should I just cut my losses and go play Metroid Prime Hunters instead? And no, this isn't standard. The standard is to not have a EULA in the front of your single player offline game. That's the standard. What the fuck is this? Where the hell was I? All personal information collected and processed by ZeniMax in connection with this agreement will be collected, processed in accordance with the ZeniMax media privacy policy. You should save a copy of this EULA, the terms of service, the privacy policy, and the code of conduct for your records and for future reference, so that when we take you to court, we can show you that you agreed for us to do whatever the fuck we want to you. All software programs and any and all files that are delivered to you and made available to you by ZeniMax, directly or indirectly through a ZeniMax authorized reseller or distributor, via online access, transmission, download, or otherwise, including any patcher, installer, and any updates or modifier to such software programs, and any and all copies, derivative works in such software programs, collectively, game client defined below, are the copyrighted works of ZeniMax and its affiliates. Game license not sold to you. Yeah, no shit. I don't think that I own the copyright of the stuff that I buy. But I do believe that I own an individualized copy. Like when I create a character in it, like that's my character. Ugh. If you agree to this agreement, hey, I don't. You may download and install or stream the computer software of the game, hereafter referred to as the game client, on your computer. Again, they're calling it the client, and not like the application or the program or the software. Again, they're just calling it a launcher and or console for the sole purpose of playing the game. Subject to your compliance with these terms and conditions of this agreement, ZeniMax hereby grants and you hereby accept a limited, non-transferable, non-exclusive license to install the game client on one or more computers and or consoles owned by you under your legitimate control, and to use the game client solely as part of the service for your non-commercial entertainment purposes only. ZeniMax terms of service include terms and conditions applicable to virtual currencies, such as such term is defined by ZeniMax terms of service, including terms that grant you a non-exclusive limited license for virtual currency. Is there microtransactions? There weren't any on the store. Such terms and conditions apply to the virtual currency if any licenses for use with the game. Subject to the statutory obligations as defined by Section 1 of the Terms of Service, this agreement does not give you any right to obtain reissues or replacements of the game at any time, and ZeniMax is not obligated to supply software updates, upgrades, or expansions for the game, or even operate or continue to support the game for an indefinite period. I'm trying to figure out what they mean by that. Like, what do they actually mean? So they're not promising updates, expansions, upgrades. That's fine. Most games are supposed to come out complete. Oh, hi, Twitchy. Hi, we're reading a EULA. Man, I don't know. As further described in the ZeniMax Terms of Service, but subject to the statutory obligations as defined in Section 1 of the ZeniMax Terms of Service, ZeniMax may change, modify, suspend, or discontinue any aspect of the game at any time and ZeniMax may also impose limits on certain features or restrict your access to part or all of the game without notice or liability. So again, there's that thing saying they're going to turn off the servers and the game will stop working. They're warning you up front that they're going to do that. They keep calling it a client or a launcher, and they keep saying, we're going to turn this off eventually. You're only reaching into our servers to run this. It's not on your PlayStation. It's on our servers, and you're streaming it from us, and we're going to turn it off. You're not going to have it, and you can't do anything about it. Because why else would they be putting a EULA at the front of a single-player offline game if it doesn't have any network stuff? I mean, they haven't gotten into interactions or anything yet. Like how they're not liable for the actions of other users. In all cases, the license guarantees you in this agreement will terminate upon... In all cases, the licenses granted to you in this agreement will terminate upon the earlier of termination... What? Will terminate upon the earlier of termination of this agreement. What? The licenses granted to you in this agreement will terminate upon the earlier of termination of this agreement. What the hell? Was this written by an AI? That sentence makes no sense. Am I crazy? That sentence makes no sense. In all cases, the licenses granted to you in this agreement will terminate upon the earlier of termination of this agreement. The earlier of termination? I'm trying to parse it. Licenses granted to you in this agreement will terminate upon, and then there's stuff missing of termination of this agreement. It's like they got either too many words or too few. They edited this part and then didn't reread it. Tell my firewall to block communication to or from a server for a game or other program that might be messing with it. That's a great idea. I don't think my PlayStation 5 has a firewall up, and I don't know how to modify my my router to do that. But like I'm honestly wondering, how do I go into my PlayStation 5 settings and turn off the network? How's Luna doing, Queen? Deletion of the game from your devices or termination. Pretending to be a dragon or something. Breathing fire. Keeping you in her horde. If Luna is the dragon, does that mean that you are the princess queen? Causing chaos? Oh. Okay, so I think I was crazy, and I needed to keep reading after the comment. The agreement will terminate upon the earlier of the following conditions. Termination of the agreement, deletion of the game from the device, or termination of your Bethesda.net account with ZeniMax. Hey, good news, I don't got one. And if you tell me to start one, I'm shutting this thing off right away. I ain't making one. The ZeniMax terms of service include terms and conditions applicable to use user-generated content, downloadable content, and other content, and you agree to comply with such terms and conditions. I don't. Number 2, software updates and anti-cheating and security tools. ZeniMax may deploy or provide patches, updates, improvements, upgrades, or modifications to the game updates that must be installed by you in the manner described by ZeniMax in its discretion before you may continue to play the game. All such updates are part of game for purposes of this agreement. The license is granted to you and the license is limited set forth in this agreement. Terms of this agreement will govern any updates provided by ZeniMax and replace and or supplement the original game unless such updates are accompanied by separate license agreements, in which case the terms of the license agreement will govern. ZeniMax has implemented tools and software designed to detect and prevent cheating and fraud. Anti-cheating tools. These technologies may scan your computer or device from which you download or play the game and detect or identify any programs or processes designed to cheat, gain an unfair advantage in a game, or otherwise circumvent any security, anti-cheating, or fraud detection processes, or tools. We have implemented cheat programs by using or downloading the game. Accepting this agreement, you acknowledge and expressly agree that access to your computer or devices these anti-cheat tools to identify or detect cheat programs. I hate when fucking EULAs yell at me. Like, fuck off, dude. Sit down, have like a bottle of water or something. Calm your tits. Lawyers are so grouchy. Section 3, limitations and restrictions. Certain features of the game are a service offered by ZeniMax and may only be downloaded online. In such cases, an internet connection, which is not supplied by ZeniMax, is required to access these features. You're responsible for all costs and expenses associated with acquiring any hardware, software, internet browsers, or other products or services required by the game, in addition to the restrictions, conditions, limitations set forth by ZeniMax in terms of services and the ZeniMax Code of Conduct. The licenses granted to you in this EULA is subject to the conditions, restrictions, and limitations set forth in Section 1 and Section 3 of this EULA, collectively the license limitations. And use of the game in violation of these license limitations will be regarded as an infringement of ZeniMax copyrights in and to the game and will breach this agreement. You agree that you will not and will not assist in any other person under any circumstances to A, in whole part, distribute publicly or perform or display, sell, transmit, publish, edit, reproduce, sublicense, rent, lease, loan, or otherwise transfer the game contents, including without limitation any access keys. No, I don't agree to that. In fact, hey, you know what? Go pirate this game. It's 20 years old. If you find a website that has Oblivion and you can go download it, I encourage you to do that. Sorry, is my yelling upsetting Luna? Just turn my volume down. I've always been nicer to look at than I am to listen to anyway. In whole or in part, modify, adapt, translate, reverse engineer, attempt to derive source code from, modify, disassemble, decompile, or create works based on the game, provided however access you make. You may make one copy of the game client and the manuals that accompany it for archival purposes only, and you may install the relevant game materials on one computer, consoles, devices owned by you or your legitimate console as described in section 1 above. That's standard. C, remove, like that's, so far that's the only sane paragraph in this EULA. C, remove any proprietary notices or labels on the game or attempt in manner to circumvent any security measures designed to control access to the game part thereof. Use cheats, automated software, bots, hacks, mods, or any other unauthorized third-party software designed to modify the game or adversely impact any other persons playing the game or their experiences playing the game. Again, single player offline. I'm not going to be affecting anyone else's play style. Oh, Queen, you're very wrong there. That's your worst theory so far. Exploits the game or any of its parts, including without limitation to the game client for any commercial purposes, including without limitation renting, leasing, or licensing the game to others, including without limitation. A, gathering virtual currency is defined by ZeniMax terms of service, items or resources for sale outside the game, or B, performing in-game services in exchange for payment outside the game, e.g. power leveling. Like, This reads... It's like they put the EULA for Elder Scrolls Online in front of Oblivion Remastered by accident. Like, if I was booting up Elder Scrolls Online, all of this would make sense. All of this would be, oh yeah, of course. Yeah, that's standard, that's normal. But having this in front of Oblivion is fucking baffling. This is nonsense. Use any unauthorized third-party software that intercepts or mines. Yeah, oh, you're going to be mad at me for mining you for data? After you explicitly said that you're going to mine me for data? Cool. Or otherwise collects information from or throughout the game or the service, including without limitation any software that reads areas of RAM used by the game to store information about character or the game environment, provided, however, that ZeniMax may, in its sole and absolute discretion, allow the use of certain third-party user interfaces and other third-party software. G. Modify or cause the modify of any files that are part of the game and or game client in a way to not expressly authorized by ZeniMax. H. Host, provide, or develop matchmaking services for the game, intercept, emulate, or redirect the communication protocols used by ZeniMax in any way or other purchase. The limitation on unauthorized plays over the internet, network play, or part of a content aggregation networks. I. Facilitate, create, or maintain any unauthorized connection to the game or the service, including without limitation A. Any connection to the unauthorized server that emulates or attempts to emulate the service, and B. Any connection using programs, tools not expressly provided by ZeniMax. J. Take any action, upload, post, transmit, promote, or distribute any illegal content. K. Take any action to upload, post, transmit, promote, or distribute any content that infringes or violates any third-party rights. L. Engage in or take any action associated with or participate in any types of child solicitation, grooming behavior, pedophilia, or predatory behavior in any form. I thought that Americans loved that stuff. M. Harass, stalk, threaten, embarrass, spam, or do anything else to another user of the game that is unwanted, such as repeatedly sending unwanted messages or making personal attacks or statements about race, sexual orientation, religion, or heritage. N. Take any action to upload, post, transmit, distribute, or communicate your or any person's real-world personal information. O. Impersonate any person or identity, including but not limited to ZeniMax partners or affiliates, employees, or falsely state or other misrepresent your affiliation with personal entity. P. Take any action, organize, transmit any content, effectuate. I pronounced that really weird. Effectuate or participate in any activity, group, or guild that is harmful, torturous, abusive, hateful, including hate speech. Dude, I'm gonna play an Elder Scrolls game and you're telling me, hey, no racism though? I mean, unless it's against knife ears, right? Is that what you're telling me? Religiously or otherwise offensive, obscene, threatening, bullying, vulgar, sexually explicit, defamatory, libelous, infringing, invasive of personal privacy or public rights, encourages conducts that would violate a law or is a reasonable person's view objectionable and or deemed to be the sole discretion of ZeniMax. You know what I want to do? I should write up a summary of all of these points and then apply them in reverse to ZeniMax, Bethesda, Microsoft, and the Elder Scrolls game itself here. And then every time they violate one of these things towards me, such as having racist NPCs or mining my system for my personal information, then I can write up a little ledger and I'll tally up the infractions and I'll send them a fucking bill at the end. And if they want to protest it, they can come to my country instead of me going to theirs. They can come all the way up here and deal with it. Q. Promote, upload, transmit, encourage, or take part in any activity involving hacking, cracking, phishing, taking advantage of exploits or cheats, and or distribution of counterfeit software and or virtual currency or virtual items. In an effort to continuously improve the game, you just said you're not going to provide updates or expansions. What do you mean an effort to continually improve the game? You said you're not going to improve shit. You and other users, players, discovering exploits, cheats, cracks, and other inconsistencies are required to report them to ZeniMax. Or R, take any action to upload, post, transmit, promote, or distribute any content that may contain a Trojan horse, virus, worm, spyware, time bomb, cancel bot, corrupt data, or other computer program that you do not own or have permission to freely distribute that may damage, interfere with, intercept, expropriate, or disrupt the game. Any attempt to do any of this foregoing is a breach of the agreement and may be a violation of intellectual property rights in the game. If you breach these restrictions, you may be subject to prosecution and damages. I mean, you know, that's fair. It would be based, but it's fair. The game is licensed to you and as a single product. Its component parts may not be separated for use on more than one computer device. The game is licensed, not sold. Incorrect, you sold it to me. Your license confers no title ownership to the game or copies thereof. Incorrect, sir. Number 4, ownership of the game. ZeniMax and its licensors are and will continue to be owners of all rights, titles, and interest in the game and its services, including without limitation all intellectual property rights, moral rights to the game and copies thereof, including without limitations any title, softwares, programs, and code, game-related themes, characters, character names, character likenesses, stories, dialogue, catchphrases, locations, concepts, artwork, character inventory, structural landscapes, and other designs of the game, animation, sounds, musical compositions, recordings, audiovisual effects, storylines, methods of operation, and any related documentation. You shall take no action inconsistent with such title of ownership. The game is protected by the copyright laws of Megaland, international treaties and conventions, and other laws. The game may contain materials licensed by third party, and the licensors of these materials may enforce their rights of the event of any violation of this agreement. You acknowledge and agree that you have no interest, monetary or otherwise, in the feature or content contained in the game. What the fuck do you mean? I have no interest, monetary or otherwise, in the content of the thing I just paid money to get! What the fuck are you talking about? You acknowledge you don't care about the thing you bought. Then why did I buy it, ZeniMax? Do you think I was bored? You think I just got these $60 falling out of my pockets and I don't know what to do with them? This was an entire month's worth of gasoline right here on my screen. Ugh. This paragraph will survive the termination of this agreement. Dude, it's not even gonna survive this bit. Collection and processing of personal information. Oh, this will be good. ZeniMax will process your personal information in accordance with the ZeniMax media privacy policy. This is why every time I'm told to fill out a form to sign up for something, I fucking lie. I never tell anyone where I live, what my real name is, anything like that. I have 4 fake email addresses. And it's because of shit like this. Yeah, soak up my fake data. My PSN name, like, of the person that owns the account, is named fucking No Thank You. That is my name according to PlayStation Network. And if you want to put that in as my legal name on your servers, go fucking ahead. Let's see. We will also use cookies, web beacons, and other analytic technologies and other similar mechanisms, including those provided by third party, to collect, store, transmit information related to your usage of the service in order to operate. I did not know that consoles could have cookies installed on them. This is news to me. And so now that makes me think they're going to put a tracking cookie on my PlayStation 5, and everything I do on my PlayStation 5 is going to be transmitted to ZeniMax. And I have a feeling uninstalling the game is not going to uninstall that tracking cookie. And I don't think PlayStation 5 has a spot in the options that says view cookies. Aw, Queen, you wish. These aren't the friendly kind of cookies that make you round in shape and sugary of tongue. Man, I miss 1990s cookies. I hate 2020s cookies. Cookies used to be a thing where, how do you even describe it? It was like an ease of access option, is how they started out. It was like a handshake kind of thing between your browser and a server. It was like a, all right, you're cool, get in, kind of a thing. It's like getting a stamp on the back of your hand when you go to the club or whatever. That's what cookies used to be. Now they're like tracking tags stuck to the bottom of your car. They're like a now. Where it's like the companies want to put them there to exploit you, and they prefer if you don't even know about it. Fucking hate cookies now. I mean, my car doesn't. It's from fucking 20 years ago. But yeah, I hate modern cars too. Alright, let's see. Generally, I hate everything. I hate everything ever since the age of enshittification started. Let's see. Cookies, including those provided by third parties, collect, store, transmit information related to my usage of the service in order to operate, improve, or optimize the service and our other products to analyze usage, personalize your experience using the service, and otherwise in accordance with the ZeniMax media privacy policy. You expressly acknowledge that you have read and understood ZeniMax media policy, which explains how we may collect, use, disclose. Like, I can't even click on these URLs. They say, oh yeah, this stuff. These are the rules that are going to bind you. It's like, I can't even look at them. Like, I don't think PlayStation 5 even comes with a browser that I could go type this in and open it up. And like, I'm not visiting that on my computer to get those cookies installed on my PC. Explains how you may, no you may not, it's just you will collect, use, disclose my data, including personal information. ZeniMax cookie policy, which sets forth our use of cookies and your options regarding the same. Cookie blocker. ZeniMax reserves the right to disclose any information ZeniMax deems necessary to ensure your compliance with the agreement, satisfy any applicable law, regulation, or legal processes, or protect the rights, property, and interests of ZeniMax, its employees, other users of the game, or the public. Number 6, monitoring updates. If you request any technical support from ZeniMax, subject to your consent, subject to my consent for the first time, they're actually curious about my consent? Subject to my consent, ZeniMax may remotely access and review the computer or device in which you have loaded the game client? They can remote access my PS5? For purposes of providing technical support and debugging? Yeah, right. As further described in the ZeniMax Terms of Service, ZeniMax may update the game remotely, including without limitation, game client residing on your computer, console, or device. You hereby grant ZeniMax your consent to deploy and apply such updates? Ugh! That's not the grossest thing I've read in this EULA. That's the grossest thing I've read in any EULA ever. Oh my God. Ugh. And it's like, you hereby grant consent. What a fucking gross statement to put in. Hey, you consent. It's like, subject to your consent, you give consent. Yeah, you give consent for us to do all this stuff. Fucking hell, dude. They just say it. You give consent. I don't. No, you give consent. So since that works both ways, ZeniMax gives consent for me to tell people, hey, go pirate Oblivion. Ah, fuck, pirate Skyrim while you're at it. That game's like 11 years old. 14, actually. Go ahead and do it. ZeniMax gives consent. I decided they did. Just like they decided I give consent for them to reach into my PlayStation 5 and scramble its brains if they ever get the whim to. Holy shit. But we're not done. How much worse could it possibly get? You understand and agree that any and all game-related character data may be stored and may be resident on ZeniMax computers, and they're saying it again. That this game is being run off their servers and not my PlayStation 5. They're saying it again. This is like the third or fourth time they've reiterated the point. That I didn't download the game, I downloaded a launcher. And this is running off of their servers. Any and all communication that you make within the game traverse through ZeniMax computers and servers and may... Wait, all communications that I make within the game traverse through ZeniMax computers and servers. Everything I do goes through their servers, not my PlayStation 5? And may, which means will, may or may not, which means will, be monitored by ZeniMax or ZeniMax agents, which may or may not be humans or AI. You expressly consent. You consent to have monitoring of this communication that you send and receive. ZeniMax Terms of Services of the ZeniMax Media Privacy Policy include further terms and conditions applicable to accessing, monitoring, and recording of activities and communications on and relating to the service, including but not limited to when ZeniMax may report incidents to law enforcement and other authorities. All personal information collected and processed by ZeniMax as part of the activities set out in this Section 6 will be collected and processed in accordance with the ZeniMax privacy policy. And the terms of the agreement. Section 7, termination. This EULA starts at the time you accept the EULA and will remain effective until terminated. You may terminate this EULA at any time. Cool! I terminate it the instant after I'm forced to press the button. Number 1, permanently destroy all copies of the game in your possession or control. 2, remove the game client from your hard drive, console, or device. Subject to the statutory obligations as defined Section 1. ZeniMax may terminate this EULA at any time for any reason or for no reason, including such as ZeniMax elects to discontinue offering the game. Upon termination by ZeniMax for any reason, all licenses granted in this agreement with respect to the game that is above the subject of the EULA shall immediately terminate, and you must immediately do 1 and 2 above. No, I won't. Termination for no reason will be communicated to you by ZeniMax. You consent. Export restrictions. The game may not be exported, re-exported, downloaded, or otherwise transferred, collectively exported. 1. To or into any country which requires an export license, or which Magistan government prohibits exports, including any such country subject to economic sanctions. Or 2. To any person... Well, okay, so my country is currently in trade war with your country. Do I count? There's sanctions about sending stuff from your country to my country. Does that mean I can't download this game like I did? Is that what you're telling me? Oh yeah, the PS5 does have a mic on it. There's a microphone right here. And guess what? It's on all the time. It does have a little button here that you can press to mute it. When you mute it, the button lights up to let you know that you're muted. Because always listening is the default, and they want the button to light up when you mute it to say, hey, look out, you're muted. Don't forget you're muted. Don't forget to press the button again to unmute yourself. The moment I set up my PS5, I press this button to mute my controller. I have never turned it off, and I never will. So my controller always has this little orange light right here between the thumbsticks. And it's always going to have that. That is the design of this controller, as far as I'm concerned, is that it has this useless little orange light. Cut the wires? Twitchy! It's 2026! Ain't no fucking wires on these controllers! Oh yeah, that's right. The Switch 2 also has a mic on it. And that one I think you can't turn off. Yeah, cut the wire. Just look around. Find any wire and cut it. If you see a wire, cut it. As fast as you can. Don't hold back. Oh yeah, open up the controller and physically disable the mic. All wires. Every wire. I never saw a wire I didn't cut. Brake cables, don't forget those ones. All right. Where was I? All right, I was at the part where it said, if they're currently having a trade war with the country, then don't send it to them. Tee-hee-hee. To any person or entity prohibited from receiving goods or services of U.S. origin, you represent and warrant that you are not located in, under control of, or a national or a resident of any such country, on any such list. I mean, listen, my country didn't start the trade war, and I bet you guys didn't anticipate it, because I don't think the trade war was in effect when this came out. But I mean, we're here now. Okay, oh, this is great actually. Yeah, it's true, we are winning. This is great though. It says that I can't receive this game because of the economic sanctions upon my country. Because of them tariffs. Them good old tariffs. Because of that, I am not eligible to play this game, which means the entire EULA is void! Hurrah! None of it can possibly apply, because if I'm in violation of Section 8, right here, I can't receive this game because of the sanctions on my country. So none of this EULA can possibly apply to me. I'm already out of the terms. I've already broken it. Like, not even jokingly. To be fair, the honors of the contract is on Bethesda. Like, the main point is they've already proven multiple times that these end-user license agreements are not legally binding. Like, at most, they can be like, here are our rules for using our services kind of thing. But they're not actually circumventing human rights or legal rights of individuals. And it's like, you can take them to court and you can like win. Like they'll say like, oh, if you play our game, that means no class action lawsuits. That's not true. If something goes really terrible, you can do a class action lawsuit that says, hey, everyone who played your game got their computers fucked up. So we're doing a class action lawsuit, and even though you put in your EULA no class action lawsuits, that doesn't matter because you fucked up all our computers. And the judge is going to say, yeah, dude, fuck off. Give these guys their money back. Contract law is specifically that the onus of clarity is on the contract making side. Yeah. I fucking hate all this legal shit. This Section 8 will survive the termination of this agreement. Section 9, Warranty. If you, the original purchaser, purchase the game on a physical media, such as disc, I did not. Your use of the game is subject to a limited warranty, including the manual or other packaging materials that came with your purchase. ZeniMax terms of service include provisions regarding the disclaimer of representations, warranties, and guarantees subject to statutory obligations as defined in Section 1 of the ZeniMax terms of service. As such, provisions are incorporated into this EULA by this reference and form a part of this EULA as if such provisions were fully restated in this EULA. This Section 9 shall survive the termination of the agreement. With respect to the software that is enabled for use on over the internet, you acknowledge that ZeniMax is not responsible for the internet or whether it should continue to exist on its present form or whether or not the government or governmental agency, either foreign or domestic, will control, regulate, or disband the internet. What? Use of the internet is at your sole risk? Disband the internet? What do you mean? Is that a metaphor? ZeniMax is not responsible for the internet. And if people decide to regulate or disband the internet, that's not our issue. I mean, that's kind of going outside of the scope of this agreement, don't you think, ZeniMax? That's a little broad scale for what we're talking about here. Like, I mean, you're just here to tell me that I don't have buyer's rights. Or a right to privacy. We're not really here to talk about the future of the internet's survival. Oh, don't worry. There's another game that I was planning on playing after this, and I'd say I'm about half an hour away from turning this off and playing that instead. I didn't even know there was an Indigo Park 2. Oh, you're over Shadow Hearts? Oh no! I only saw a little bit of it. I wonder if I can get my hands on Shadow Hearts. I watched my ex play part of it, and he got to a part that was a haunted house, and I fell asleep, and then I woke up, and it's like, oh, I miss the haunted house. I love haunted houses. And he was like, how could you leave me alone? I had to go through the haunted house by myself. It's like, well, why didn't you wake me up? We both suffered. I don't think I get any sleep with you around, Queen. It'd be too much fun. Let's see. Did I read this one? With respect to the software that is enabled for use on or over the internet, you acknowledge that ZeniMax is not responsible for the internet. Or, oh yeah, okay, I read the part about musing about what the future has in store for the internet. Number 10, limitation of liability reimbursement. I mean, I guess it makes sense to put a thing in your EULA that says, hey man, anything could happen. The internet could disappear tomorrow. So don't go getting mad at us if the internet goes away. We're not in charge of the internet. I mean, yeah, it's true, but who thinks like that? Who would be the guys like, oh, the internet went down all over the world because of that massive solar flare? I'm gonna complain to ZeniMax. ZeniMax, bring back the internet so that my client can connect to your servers and run my offline single-player RPG experience. I mean, if you're really worried about the destruction of the internet interrupting service of your game, make your fucking game offline! Don't make me connect to your servers! It's real easy! Everyone else does it! You fools! To the maximum extent permitted by applicable law and subject to the statutory obligations as defined as Section 1 of the Terms of Service, in no event shall ZeniMax or any of ZeniMax licensors be liable for any special, incidental, consequential, punitive, exemplary, or other indirect damages, or third-party claims, or loss or damage to any systems, hardware, or software, records, or data, even if advised or aware of the possibility of such damages, and even if a limited remedy of this agreement fails in its essential purposes. So even if we know our product is going to wreck your device, and we say, it's fine, ship it, that's okay? You think that's okay? That is neglect of the highest order. That is massive corruption that you are admitting to. You dopes. Some jurisdictions do not allow the limitation or exclusion of liability. Accordingly, some of the above may not apply to you. Listen, every time I read these EULAs, I get so jealous when they mention, oh yeah, there's a special case for the EU because they actually have good legal laws. And so all of this gross stuff doesn't apply to you and we're not going to do it. It shows that we can do our thing without doing the gross stuff, but we're able to get away with the gross stuff in North America. So we do the gross stuff in North America out of greed and evil intent. We don't have to, but we will, because that's the kind of people we are. And I get so jealous of those countries that have special laws in place that protect consumers. I really wish that Canada would get its shit together and do whatever those other countries did. I wouldn't be mad if Canada joined the EU like people are joking about, so that I got EU legal protections. Yeah, imagine, right? It'd probably be cold there. A possibility of some jurisdictions. The ZeniMax terms of service include other provisions regarding the limitation of liability and remedies, subject to the statutory obligations as defined in Section 1 of the ZeniMax terms of service. And such provisions are incorporated into this EULA by this reference and form part of this EULA, as if such provisions were fully restated in this EULA. If you misuse the game, service, or breach this agreement, or to any contributions, actions, or omissions by you in connection with the use of the game, or any service results in ZeniMax incurring any liabilities, damages, losses, costs, and or expenses, including without limitations, attorney fees, and court costs, then you agree to reimburse ZeniMax and its affiliates and other participants in the service for such liabilities, damages. When I read the EULA for, what was it called? The Yarny game. What was that called? Tangled, right? Entwined? What was it called? What was the name of that Yarny game? Not Tangle. What was it called? Yarn Boy. Yarnsman. Where is it? Unravel. Well, I wasn't even close. When I read the EULA for Unravel, I was like, blah, oh, it's gross. But I read a section in there that said, hey, if you have a legal dispute with us, but you're too poor, we will front your legal costs. Because it's important to us that we go to court, settle it, and make sure that we're all satisfied. I read that, and that one clause completely turned me around. And I was like, hey, you know what? This EULA wasn't so bad. And I went and I accepted it, and I was happy. Like, usually at the end of it, I say, like, hey, these things aren't legally binding like they pretend they are. I do not agree to any of these terms. I am stating on camera, here and now, I do not agree to anything in here, but they are holding my product hostage behind this button press. So I am going to press this button and access the content I paid for, but I do not agree to the letter nor spirit of this document, is what I usually say. But I got to the end of the Unravel document and I said, you know what? You won me over with that caring about my my due process. So I accept your EULA. I actually, on camera, accepted a EULA, and I was pleased to do so. This is the exact opposite. This is like, we are going to charge you more if you're going to take us to court. And if you don't win, you're paying our lawyers. This is irreprehensible. I said, how much worse could it get? This is how much worse. It is tonally the exact opposite of that thing that impressed me with Unravel. Queen, you can't even be sensible. You're a mad lad. All right, where was I? Ugh. If you misuse the game services, contribution to accident emissions by connection with these, incurring liable damages, losses, expenses. You agree to reimburse ZeniMax and its affiliates and other participants of the service for all such liabilities, damage costs, expenses. If a third party sues ZeniMax for either, both, one, or two above, ZeniMax reserves the right to control the defense and setting of such third party lawsuit. And you agree to reimburse ZeniMax for the cost of the defense, including but not limited to reasonable and documented attorney's fees. So in other words, we're going to get the most expensive lawyers we can find, and you are going to pay for them before you even see a second of us in court. Holy fucking shit. Like, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, if I was taking this seriously and I read that line, this game is too dangerous to fucking play. Because if they ever, for any reason, and they said before, for even no reason, they might decide to sue me or take me to court, I'm ruined. And there's no amount of the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion that is worth risking my house or my livelihood for. This one clause right here makes this program a fucking bomb. And the pin can fall out at any time. And boy, I should probably get this fucking bomb out of my house before it kills me. How much did I pay for this? About $60. It was 50 something something plus tax. I've been playing it for about an hour, a little over an hour. So I can turn it off. I'm telling you, like, I'm gonna spoil the end of the stream. I'm gonna reach the end of this EULA and say that I don't like it, turn off the game, and then try to get a refund later. Like, that's how this is going to end. Can I get a refund? You know what? Honestly, the PlayStation Network has been incredibly kind. Every time I've ever called a PlayStation helpline or whatever and said, hey, listen, I bought a DLC by mistake. Can I get a refund on it? They've always been, oh yeah, sure. I've never had any problems with them. PlayStation is super chill. I'm going to tell them, hey, I read this end user license agreement and I hated every second of it. It's super gross, manipulative, and destructive. I want to return my purchase. Can I please get a refund? I played it for less than 2 hours. And I anticipate no problems. But that's where this is going. And I'm going to upload this video to my channel so that we never forget. And as I mentioned at the start, I do have the old 2006 version on my computer. But I have trouble running it because I have to jump accounts on Steam. I might try to play that instead. Unless I decide, hey, I don't have the time for the Elder Scrolls. So I'm just gonna say, fuck it. Why would I play the Elder Scrolls when I could go play Digimon? Or Mad Max? Or Seiken Densetsu 3? Or Final Fantasy 12? Here, let me open up my spreadsheet called Despair. Why would I ever play the Elder Scrolls 4 when I could go back and finish Broforce, or Need for Speed, or Xenoblade Chronicles X, or Assassin's Creed, or Doom 2, or Fairy Fencer F, or Tales of Symphonia, or Breath of Fire 1 and 2, Prince of Persia, Metroid Prime 2. Oh no, I never finished that. I never finished Metroid Prime 2, and I'm about to go play Metroid Prime Hunters. Minish Cap, Fatal Frame 3. I did the first half of the Ooze, and then I fucked up one of the secrets, and I have to replay the entire game. I gotta do that still. Donkey Kong Country 2, I only did the first third of that game. Super Mario RPG, man, I got all these things that I could be playing. Kingdom Hearts. I got all these things. Yeah, Shadow Hearts. I gotta finish Shadow Hearts for Queen. There's all these things that I could be playing instead of this. Why would I ever click accept? 1992 Bungie Marathon. You know what? You know what's real crazy? That's on my list. It's on my spreadsheet. I missed the 10-year anniversary of Marathon. I have it. I just didn't play it. Marathon 2, I think, is coming up. I could play those instead. Section 11. Changes to the agreement. ZeniMax may replace this EULA with new versions over time as the game and the law evolve. This EULA will terminate immediately upon the introduction of a new EULA, which you won't get to see, read, or agree to. It'll just happen, and you will be none the wiser. You will be given an opportunity to review the new EULA in accordance with the change provided set out in the ZeniMax Terms of Service. I don't believe you. What are you going to do, email it to me? New EULA will not be applied retroactively. Oh, okay, that means if they come up with new conditions in the EULA, my past behaviors will not be suspect. Your continued use of the game and play of the game as a modification of the EULA will be deemed your acceptance at any modified time. Section 12. Government restricted rights. Game is a commercial item developed exclusively at private expense and comprised of commercial computer software and commercial computer software documentation as the terms are defined in the applicable acquisition regulations, including without limitation Federal Acquisition Regulation, FAR, at 48 CFR 2.101. The game is licensed to the U.S. government end users subject to the terms of this agreement, as specified in 48 CFR 12.212, computer software, and 12.211, technical data for civilian agencies. And as specified in 48 CFR 227.7202-3 and 48 CFR 227.7202-4, consistent with 48 CFR 227.7202 for Department of Defense entities? The DoD? Solely with respect to the U.S. government's rights in the game, the U.S. government license rights clause is in lieu of and supersedes any other FAR, DFARs, or other clause for provision to the contract under which the game is obtained. The manufacturer is ZeniMax, in case you haven't noticed yet. And poof. Oh man, I could go for some soup. My breakfast today was some powdered donuts. I bought some powdered donuts when I was at the store buying a money card so that I could buy this game. Because I thought, hey, you know what? It's the anniversary of this. And at the last moment I thought, what if I played the modern remake that just came out? That'd be pretty funny. Oops. Sorry, Queen, the donuts are all gone. They did not survive the hour. Not a single donut remains. You can lick the powder off of the plastic package. I wouldn't recommend it, but I'm not going to stop you. Section 13, Governing Law. For residents of North America, this agreement and all disputes as defined in the disputes provision shall be governed by the laws of the state of Maryland, USA. Maryland? Including its conflicts of law rules and principles that would result in other state or country's law applying to the agreement or any disputes. Huh, Maryland. It's usually California. If you reside outside of North America, then the agreement and all disputes shall be governed by the laws of England. So if I'm in Nairobi, I have to go to England to see you in court? Not the United Kingdom. But like England, specifically. England. With the red and white cross flag. Not the UK. Okay. Let's travel back in time like 100 years to when there was an England and go to court. All right. Excluding its conflict of law rules and principles that would result in another state or country's law applying this agreement in disputes. Local mandatory laws may be applied, notwithstanding the disputes provision. You agree that ZeniMax shall be entitled to injunctive relief, specific performance, and equitable remedies with respect to breaches of sections 1 or 3 of this agreement, in addition to such other remedies as ZeniMax may otherwise have under applicable law. The Section 13 will survive the termination of this agreement. Section 14, miscellaneous. Oh, look at all that space at the end. We're at the end. We're getting close. This EULA, along with the ZeniMax Terms of Service and the ZeniMax Code of Conduct, which I have not been able to read, and there's no link for me to access them unless I manually type them into a browser on a different device, constitutes and contains the entire agreement between you and ZeniMax with respect to the subject matter hereof, and supersedes any prior oral written agreements. This EULA shall coexist with and shall not supersede the ZeniMax Terms of Service. To the extent that the provisions of this EULA conflict with the provisions of ZeniMax Terms of Service, and unless expressly indicated otherwise in this agreement, the conflicting provisions of this EULA shall control and shall govern, except as specifically provided in the disputes provision. If any part of this agreement is held invalid or unenforceable, that portion shall be interpreted in a manner consistent with the applicable law to reflect, as near as possible, the original intent of such part, and the remaining portion of this agreement shall remain in full force and effect. The failure of ZeniMax to exercise any enforcement or enforce any right or provision of this agreement will not constitute waiver of such rights or provision. Yeah, if only it actually worked that way. Any waiver of any provision of this agreement will be effective only in writing signed by ZeniMax. You agree that this agreement and ZeniMax's enforcement of this agreement are not intended to confer and do not confer any rights or remedies upon any person other than you and ZeniMax. Section 14 shall survive termination of the agreement for any reason. Purchase and use of the items are subject to the network terms of service and user agreement. This online service, aka single-player offline RPG, has been sublicensed to you by Sony Interactive Entertainment America. Any content purchased in an in-game store will be purchased from Sony Interactive Entertainment Network Europe Limited and be subject to PlayStation Network terms of service and user agreements, which is available on the PlayStation Store. Please check usage rights for any such purchases, as these may differ from item to item. Otherwise shown context available in any in-game store has the same age rating as the game. By clicking accept, you confirm you've read and acknowledged the ZeniMax privacy policy and agree to the ZeniMax media terms of services and code of conduct. And there's no back out button, there's only the accept. So, we've read the whole thing. What do you guys think? I've made up my mind. What would you guys do in this situation? How simple and relevant it was. Yeah, it only took us, you know what, it took an hour and 20 minutes to get through it, but a bunch of that was me stopping to yell, scream, and be incredulous. $1.7K? What do you mean 1.7K? 1.7K what? 1700 what? Switch to playing PS4 Rayman Legends. Followers? Ah, oh, cool! I'm up to 101. I have a wonderful 101 followers. 4 years of hard work, baby! Yeah, I'm catching up to you. I'm right on your tail. Better watch out. All right. So, continue where I left off, huh? How do I close? Switcher. How do I... There we go. All right. You know what? It would be great. So apparently I was supposed to have made affiliate. But that seems to have been a lie. So first of all, they said, okay, to start to get your affiliate stuff, like there's a couple things that come with being affiliate. First of all, when you're just some random loser, your VODs stick around for 1 week, but when you're an affiliate, they'll stick around for 2 before they get automatically deleted. You will also have access to emotes and channel points and a bunch of other stuff like functions and features that comes with being a Twitch streamer. They said, okay, you are affiliate. You got the stuff. So what we need from you is to sign up for 2-factor authentication. So I didn't have a phone for years. Like, I've never had a phone. They say sign up for 2-factor authentication. With what? What do you mean? How do you expect me to sign up for 2-factor? Why do I need 2-factor authentication? Like, I'll just log in. It's pretty easy. In fact, Streamlabs does it for me. I open it up and it connects. There's no problems. So anyway, so I never did it. And it was months later. My mother is having health concerns. I'm not going to go into details, but part of it is I needed to be reachable at a moment's notice. And so a phone was obtained for me. And so, okay, I have a phone now. I'm going to go through the steps of setting up 2-factor authentication. Hey, that's a plus. That's a silver lining. And so I went through that, and it had me jump through so many hoops, dude. It wanted 3rd-factor authentication, then 4th-factor authentication. It kept asking for more and more and more stuff from me. It was like at this part where it's like, okay, now scan this QR code and install software on your phone. And it's like all this stuff. It's like, no. And I told it no. And they said, oh, okay. Your 2-factor is set up. All right. So I have 2 weeks on my VODs before they're deleted? No. Oh, but I can click the tab in my channel settings for the emotes and the channel points and get that sorted out. That's loading. Oh, you got to us real quick. We're still working on this. Come back later. Give it a minute. It's been months. I did this months ago. I click on this tab, it's just a black screen. Where's my channel points, Twitch? Where's my emotes? I decided what emotes I was going to have like 4 months ago. So anyway, supposedly I'm an affiliate. You couldn't tell by looking at my channel. Oh, I just noticed I'm at 104 followers. How the fuck did that happen? I was at 101 yesterday. And the only people that have watched me today are people that already watched me. Twitchy, did you just follow me just now? I know you didn't, but what other explanation is there? Anyway. I'm trying to think. Where do I have Rayman Legends? Hold on, give me a moment. I gotta go check. I got it on PS3. And unfortunately, I don't have Detroit Become Human. Anyway, pirate the Elder Scrolls. 1 and 2 are free on Steam. You can just download those with no guilt. They're free. You can go get them. There's mods that can change them so that they're like a little bit more modernized. I might experiment with some of those. As for Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim, just feel free to pirate those. It's not worth the hassle of dealing with ZeniMax or their lawyers. Just grab it. Go ahead. God, that was the worst EULA I've ever seen. Yeah! Holy hell. Jump to speak with the Bubble Dreamer. Yeah! Nice, I got 420 of those sprite guys. What is all this stuff? It's been so long since I played this. That one's done, that one's done. Here, this one. Creepy Castle time trial. That one's done. More time trials. Ooh, I missed a fella here. I missed 2 fellas here. Dang, I missed it. Oh, I forgot about this. You guys got Wii U's, right? Oh, I can't go back. There was a thing there. Oh well. So that's number 1. I trusted you, little guy. That's 2. Where am I? I thought it was at the bottom. Oh, I missed that. No, I want to restart. Start me over. I don't... Rayman feels like he should have some kind of, like, a pun behind his name. But I don't know what. I didn't even want to start over that time. What? Why did I let go? Oh, I got him. Hold L. There was another guy there. I could hear him. Poke that eyeball. I want to go back and look, explore. Alright, well I missed one of the guys, but it's fine. Yeah, and I got the gold. All right, good job, me. Okay, I played a little bit. I got some gameplay in my Oblivion Remastered stream. I played a much nicer game. I'm going to take a break now to go get myself some food. I'd planned on having some lunch after I finished my Oblivion stream, and I guess that's now. I'll be back this afternoon because there's a different game that had an anniversary on the same day. Same bat day, same bat year for the DS. And I'm going to come back and I'm going this evening and I'm going to play some of that instead. What can we do? Is there anybody? Hey, yeah, you know what? Let's go say hi to Wizard Power, working on his Lego City speedrun. Okay. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you weren't really jumping at the bit to see some Elder Scrolls gameplay. But them's the breaks. That's the worst EULA I ever read in my life. Yikes. Yowza. What is a ray? Nothing but a miserable pile of body parts. Alright, you guys take care of yourselves. Have a better day than what you started with. And I'll see you next time. Take care of yourselves. Thanks for stopping by.